Hi everyone, this is Fook Lee. Welcome to my tutorial on black and white conversion using Adobe Photoshop. I'm using Adobe Photoshop CS3, but you can use any version of Photoshop that supports adjustment layers. I believe that Adobe Photoshop CS and later all support this feature by default. Now, a lot of you are wondering why even bother with a black and white software conversion when your digital camera may be able to take photos using black and white mode. Well, the main reason for that is that the black and white mode of most digital cameras essentially takes the image sensor data and discard all color information and present you with a very neutral grayscale image that may not be what you want in a final black and white image. Some people subconsciously realize that the black and white mode of a camera may not be the best option for them, and they try to do some rudimentary conversions themselves. Oftentimes what they end up doing is no different than what the camera is doing. For example, in Photoshop here, if I go to image mode and then grayscale, I end up with pretty much exactly what the camera is doing on its own, which is taking a color image of this house, for example, and discarding all of the color information and ending up with a grayscale image. Now, looking at this image, you may think to yourself, well, what's wrong with it? And in looking at it, I would have to agree with you that there's really nothing wrong with it per se, although it's kind of just a neutral, flat, grayscale image with no contrast or pop to it. The technique that I'm going to show you is very simple to do, but allows you to have a lot of control on the final image. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We'll take this image back to color. And what you want to do is you want to go down to the layers palette down here and click on the adjustment layer icon. When you do that, you'll get a menu that pops up giving you a variety of options. What you want to do is select the hue saturation item. You'll get a pop-up window. On this one, just go ahead and click OK. Now there's an important step here. What you want to do is after you create this adjustment layer, go up to the blending mode for the layers palette and select color. Okay, you're going to see why this is important in a second, but for now just go ahead and do that. The next step is to go ahead and just do what you just did and make another hue saturation layer. The main difference is that this time what I want you to do is to take this slider for saturation and drag it all the way to the left, so it says -100. Then click OK. Now what you're presented with is somewhat similar to the grayscale image before. The main difference is that now you have a lot more control. So how do we proceed with editing the image itself to make it more pleasant than just a simple grayscale? Well, the answer is you go to your first hue saturation adjustment layer. Double click on the icon here to bring up the dialog box for hue saturation. I'm just going to move it to the side so you can see it. This is where the magic now comes in. Take your cursor and drag the slider for hue to the left and then to the right. Now, as you're doing that, you're going to see some subtle changes to the image. Okay? Once you arrive at an image that you think looks right to you, then go ahead and stop and click OK. Now, at this stage, you can go ahead and save the image either as a JPEG or a TIFF and use it in whatever manner you wish. The rest of this is really art in black and white conversion because it's based on what you think is a good image in the end. Now what I would suggest is that you save this image with the two layers using the Photoshop document format so that you can always go back and make any changes as you see fit in the future. Well, that's it for this technique. I hope you enjoy it and find it useful. Goodbye.